Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. This is our very first GTR Player podcast, all about For the Love of Kill Team. And we're very honored to have a special guest here today in good friend Jon Sao from Spain. Jon, welcome to the show.
Hello, guys. Honored. I'm the honored one from here. So thank you very much for inviting me. I'm very excited for being in a podcast from Australia. It's than people that's from Spain, the other part of the world. Totally, it's incredible. Thank you very much.
Yeah. No, pleasure, mate. Absolute opposite ends of the planet for sure. But just so you know, the amazing work you've done, how Spain has literally shaped Kill Team from the get-go has definitely been exposed here in Australia. And I think I've told you before, I've had the pleasure of looking at your YouTube channel and having it translated or transcribed so we could understand it way back early in the day. And it's been absolutely phenomenal to have someone like yourself create content so early for the game.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that because I started my content from the Spanish speakers in the world, from Spain and Latin America too, obviously. But I told you that before in one convention game. Some people get to me and tell me, "Hey, I saw your content with translations." That's amazing. I didn't know that. Yeah. So, and in the statistics from YouTube, there is 100%. It's very small. Yeah. But from Australia, it's incredible. Maybe it's you and some of your friends.
There's definitely more than just me. There's definitely more than just me that's been watching you, Jon. I was put on by another player early on who was watching you as well. So no, it's been great.
I really appreciate that. It's the big thing from a game like this. It's a global community. It's not just countries. We share everything. I obviously also saw from Andy from Gas Have Dead or Jon from Can You Roll a Crit, their content. It's amazing. So it's incredible having all the content creators. In Spanish, we say remando. It's like navigating in the same direction.
Yeah, no, definitely. And while we're here, just a massive shout out to the likes of Dakota, Giacomo, John Reese, Travis, Jason, who've been there, creating content. Those guys have done an amazing job. I've had the pleasure of being on their shows before as well. And to your point, it's a total global community, right? And I think that's one of the special things about Kill Team. Even though everybody's playing it on multiple sides of the world, it's a close-knit community and everybody comes together, right?
Yeah, that's the best thing. With Dakota, for example, I was streaming last year in Atlanta. He was awesome, man. I love him. Hi, Dakota. I love you.
Yeah. I think we both do, mate. Now, Jon, tell me, when we look at Spain specifically, and we look at, I guess, the Spanish community's inception and your involvement and the work you've done, can you give us a bit of insight into, number one, yourself, and then the Spanish community, please?
Okay, about myself specifically, I started one section in a blog I was writing for. I wrote for 40K. For Big Hammer, but then when the 2018 version of Kill Team, the one that was playing with 100 points, it was a spin-off from 40K, was released. I thought for making a section in that blog for writing specifically for Kill Team. That started everything here in Spain. Wow, that's a long trip. It's like 8 years ago. Wow. I didn't think about that until now. So it started back then. So I started that blog, having the list and the insight from the players from not only from Spain, from the US, from Nova Open, Las Vegas Open, and stuff like that. With in that moment, one of the big players was Matt Hoyle, and have the pleasure to meet him. So yeah, that started everything here in Spain with that blog. Then I started hosting some tournaments in my city, and then spread it about all the Spain of the country. And now we have one of the best competitive scenes. I don't want to be, how I say,
I get what you're saying.
But yeah, we won twice the World Team Championship from this summer. This edition, a month ago, and the last year edition, having good players in the finals. For example, Java against Alexa in the World Championship 2 years ago. So yeah, Spain is very, very, very big in the competitive scene, and I like that.
No, it's great. And look, Spain's definitely earned its, I guess, reputation as being one of the premium locations for kilting competitively globally, right? And I think you guys, can make that claim and say it with pride, right? But tell me, when you carved out that little blog and you started talking about the game, how quickly did the community grow?
Very, very quickly in the first months, because with the blog, I have a lot of interactions. A lot of people told me to make a YouTube channel. That's where I'm known right now, from the YouTube, not from the blog. But I switched from the blog to YouTube. For some time, I did both, but then I didn't have time for writing and then making videos. But then started very good in that edition, but with Octarius, the second edition, when was a standalone game and not a spin-off from 40K, but with Octarius, everything exploded. That was the big selling point from the game. A new system specifically made from having few models, okay? A very skirmish game, not a spin-off from taking rules from Big Hammer and just. So that was the start of everything with Octarius. For me, right now, it's the best box. And we have a lot of boxes, Into the Dark, and the new one with Dawn War. But yeah, everything started with Octarius.
Yeah, and to your point, look, I think, just cutting a few smaller kill teams out with big hammer rules like 40K rules probably set the scene for the skirmish game, right? But to your point, I mean, I still get people tell me how much they miss Terminators in Kill Team with first edition, right? Where they could take whatever they wanted. But then to your point, it got its own fingerprint. Kill Team did, right? It had its own identity with Octarius, and I think that's where the game really took off. That's where it took off for me, right? The fact that it wasn't 40K, it was on a smaller scale, it was agile, and you could play it like it was intended to be. And I think we've discussed this before, right? It's a much faster game.
Yeah. For 40K or Age of Sigmar or the Old War, any big hammer, we can call it that, big hammer, you need 3 hours to 4 hours for playing one game. So one tournament, if you want to be in a competitive one, the 5 rounds, for example, tournament, you need a full weekend. Right now, we are grown-up men. We don't have, at least me, with family, work, and stuff. I can just go to a tournament for a full weekend. Maybe if it's a very, very big tournament because it's the premium tournament of the year, but not in a monthly basis, for example. I can't do that anymore. When I was young, I took off on Friday from the work, take the car, drive 4 to 5 hours, then don't sleep, getting some beers, and then playing the games on Saturday and Sunday and coming back home. But 10 to 15 years ago, that was possible. Right now, it's not anymore. So having a tournament in the morning, because I host tournaments, I wake up at 8 a.m. So it's not that soon. So I can just sleep or get in the Saturday with the family and just, I would like to sleep a little bit more, but one day in the month it doesn't hurt. So I just host a tournament, play with the friends for 6 hours, and then getting back home to lunch, for example. So that's for me the main selling point of Kill Team.
John, who needs sleep when there's Kill Team, right?
Yeah, totally.
No, I totally get you, mate. Look, my wife would kill me if I was gone for an evening for 4 hours playing a single game of 40K. And look, when you look at it, packing up and setting up, it's probably 5 hours, right? Where I can go. And in all honesty, I have an amazing crew I play every Wednesday night with, and I can get 2 games done in about 3 hours if it's quick, if everybody knows what they're doing. And to your point, like being able to get in games more frequently, even if it's just 1 game here and there or 2 games in a sitting, or sacrificing a day for a tournament, I think that works really well. The fact that Kill Team is a faster game and there's quicker matches makes it a lot more accessible for people, right?
Yeah, totally. We have an inner joke here in Spain. We call it family points. We need to farm family points for having the opportunity for playing games. So it's very, very friendly with those family points, or the expenditure of those family points, having just one morning for a tournament or a couple hours for 1 game. Also, the logistics of having to training at home, for example, if you want to invite one friend to playing, it's not the same. The big hammer table with the mat, you need to use all your, living room, than having a small table for playing anywhere in the house. So.
Yeah, no, you're spot on there. I think we have the same thing here in Australia, John, but it's called brownie points. We earn brownie points and we get to spend them at events and so forth. So we definitely have the same I guess, guilt currency here too. So look, I think another thing, compared to 40K, and we've discussed this before, John, the fact that it's a much more easier way to get into a game, because obviously it's smaller model count, skirmish, 4 rounds, quicker. I think it takes some of the anxiety away from building models as well, right? Because it's a smaller team. And if you're thinking about getting into the game versus getting into 40K, buying a box, assembling it, getting it on the table and having a game is really easy, right?
Yeah, you just have to buy 1 box. Many of the teams are just 1 box. Some of them you have to pay to take a second one, or at least share a second one with a friend. But it's 5 to 12, 13 models at most. With 40K, no, you have to buy the Battle Force are called now. I don't know. Battle Force.
Yeah, Battle Force.
I don't know, 50 models, more or less, or something like that. And that's only, 500 points, more or less. So you have to buy another 2 or 3 boxes. And I purchase for playing a 200 or 2000 game. If I don't have anything, I have to purchase a lot of, into the money perspective, but a lot of time into assembling those models. I'm not calling painted, okay? Yeah, if you want to paint, maybe at my range, with my quality, I don't know, I can have a 40K army painted, I don't know, in 2 years. So no.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No, not for Kill Team. For Kill Team, you just buy a box, assemble it, and you can just play the next day, for example. So
but I think you've mentioned
much easier.
I think you mentioned before, though, John, it's never just 1 Kill Team box, is it?
Exactly. From the money perspective, you spend the same. Instead of having 2,000 points of 1 army, you have 20 teams. So it's more or less the same in money wise. But we have another video with $50 you play. Yeah, with $50 you play, but you will want a lot of teams in the end.
Yeah, but the value, John, right? You get everything in a box, right? That's what I keep telling myself.
Yeah. I don't want to think what they have in a box right now in the basement. So in another topic.
Yeah. Literally, my wife walks into my basement and just goes, "What the hell is going on here, mate?" And I'm just like, nothing. Look away. Look over here. Yeah. Look, I think.
Well, we have some. We are a tournament organizer. I don't know if you have a lot, but I have a lot of terrain. So the little soldiers are hiding in the terrain. So that's good.
Yeah. Look, I'm hosting a tournament in about 4 weeks, and we've got 50 players, so 25 tables. All of the terrain is mine, right? Wow. I hosted 74 last year. All of the terrain was mine. So the investment there, as you know, as a tournament organizer, is big, but it's all for the community. It's good to do, right?
Yeah. I didn't have that many tables in my own. I own right now, I don't know, 15 maybe. So nice. For 30 players in my own. But yeah, we have in the club, because we make, when we purchase the boxes, we usually donate or having the terrain available for any player of the club. So yeah, with the club, we can just pick up to 30 tables. So for a big tournaments, we usually contact with near communities, and we, for example, I host one big tournament with a golden ticket for 80 players. So I need 10 to 15 more tables. So I ask for them, and the community here in Spain, it's very kind. So yeah, just lend me those tables without problem. So I will host that for 80 players.
That's awesome. You basically pick up the phone and you call the Kill Team Mafia for help, right?
Yeah, more or less. There is that's a thing here in Spain too. We have a WhatsApp group with all the tournament organizers from all the country. So yeah, if I need something, actually my bulks are about 1,000 kilometers of my house right now, because I lend it to some friends. So no problem at all. We can just take the terrain from the others. It's awesome. Our community here at Leeds is very, very, very good.
That's so great to hear. The community is so important. We'll touch on that in a bit. Now, even though, John, the game is smaller, right, from a size perspective with regards to 40K, the tactical depth, is quite deep. And I think, when I run people through, I guess, intro games, I basically go through a 3-step process because there's so much to remember, right? So can you share with me some of the things you like about the tactical depth of Kill Team, if you don't mind?
Sure. Okay. Well, the first, it's a more global thing from Kill Team. You told before that when we were split from 40K with Octarius, it was a standalone game. So it's not 40K rules in a skirmish mode. And we are now a game with its fingertip. Right now, that's for me the main thing also for playing Kill Team. The time was one of them for playing quick games, but the other one, it's the alternating activations. So you don't have to spend a lot of money watching how your opponent moves 100 models, for example. Here you go to the restroom or just take a coffee in the movement phase of the opponent. The first edition, the one from 2018, it was that way. you move, the opponent move, then we go to the shooting phase. The phases were alternating, but not activations. But with the new edition from Octarius and so on, the last two editions is alternating every activation. That's very, very good from the focus perspective, because you are playing focus to the game all the time. So there is no resting between activations. And the other one, it becomes very tactical. Since you move one model and your opponent will respond to that move, and you will respond to him. So sometimes there is a bit of analysis paralysis, thinking what's the best activations, and can make the games a bit longer than usually it's meant to. But that tactical deep, because you don't plan for, I will move this one here, this other one here, this will shot. No, because the opponent is reacting to you. So that's very tactical. We say Kill Team does not have a strategic component. Being strategic, the things you do before the game, so making the list, thinking about combos, etc. But tactical, it's extremely deep. Much more than the other games are just, well, I move here, I shot with, I don't know, 100 dice, so yeah, let's roll cube of dice. No, here it's a small one, but every decision is very tactical. That's what I love from Kill Team.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail right on the head there, John. It's very dynamic, right? Where you might have a plan going in, but based on something your opponent might do in terms of an outplay, it might throw that plan completely out of the window. And then what you need to do from there is do everything you can to mitigate risk, right? I think we've seen, and recently, we've talked about World Team Championships and the strategy people go into there, like with 2 attacking teams, 2 defending teams, and 1 swing team, right? At any given point in time, the idea or the plan you have can go out the window because it's so dynamic. But a really good call out you made there, the depth of the game, and we've talked about this before with regards to the abilities an individual model might have, a faction rule that your team has, or even going down to things like strategic ploys and fireflight ploys really brings the game to life in that environment, right? To make the skirmish game of Kill Team so exciting. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you have to choose the strategic one, the firefight one. The command points obviously are a limited resource, so you have how to spend those. It's very deep in those decisions. Yeah, that's what you need to know your Kill Team very well. You need to play the mission very, very well. And also, you need to know what your opponent is capable of doing. So the rules of your opponent Kill Team. One big thing, this new edition from last year, it's having the score, the victory points tied to 3 different missions, and 4th one if we count primary, but the critical, the tactical, and the kill missions, because your team can be good in one of them and medium in the other. You can just defend the other ones, trying to play your big strength into one mission, but your opponent knows that, so he's going to try to do the opposite one. So, yeah, we don't have very big results. I mean, things like very one-sided games, like we have in previous edition. I don't know, one winning 22-3, for example. That's not anymore. The games are very, very close, are usually from 1, 2, 3 point difference. So that makes the game very exciting until the last activation, until the last turn, because you don't know if you are winning or not. Maybe one good roll from your part or a bad roll from your opponent can swing the game in your favor. Yeah, that's exciting.
No, definitely. And look, I couldn't agree with you more there, that the game has certainly changed, I think, for the better, because there isn't a big gap between the points anymore. And I think, and a massive shout out to Elliot and now Layla, game designers who are bringing a different spin on Kill Team, which I think is great. It's changing the game. But to your point, trying to guess what tac op your opponent has, like if you're going up against Legionary, for example, versus Vespid are definitely going to take plant beacons, but Legionary might take contain, right? And Vespid, by planting beacons, might deny Legionary from doing contain, right? So I think it's a really dynamic game, like we said earlier. And the fact that there's 3 ways to score now, I think makes it really balanced for any horde team, any elite team, any toolkit team. I think the game's in a really good spot, and I'm super excited to play the new crit ops, the 2025 packs, because scouting is gone, right? Scouting is gone.
Scouting is gone. Plant beacons is gone too.
Yeah, plant beacons is gone. My poor Vespid. I'll never go 4-0 again.
That's one thing the developers of the game are doing very good. We have every 3 months we have one box with new teams, so new rules. Then the next one we have an FAQ for addressing some things, maybe from that box or the previous one, and then a balanced data slate. The balanced data slate never touches the last box, but the other ones. So every 3 months we have one of those, and it's a cycle. So that means that the game is being addressed or updated almost every month in one shape or another. So it's very dynamic. Also, the good teams can be nerfed, the bad teams can be buffed. Things that were maybe poorly written, or there is some questions in the community because they don't understand exactly how something works is addressed. It's amazing because we have a very, very live game ongoing. And then the approved ops, to say every year with the September launch, we have a new set of missions. So right now, from yesterday were for sale, right? Yesterday was. I have them in advance, so I don't know when it goes to being on sale. But yesterday was on sale, so it's a new way to play. I have a tournament next weekend, so we are going to discover. I already did a video for the missions, obviously, but we are going almost to discover the new missions live in that tournament, because it's only one week old. The missions, it's incredible. It's a new game, so having a new game every year, rediscovering things and having monthly updates, it's incredible.
You guys will be basically playtesting at a tournament, right?
Basically.
It's gonna be like a baptism of fire, right? Everybody just goes in. It's like, hey, let's give it a go, see how we go. That's gold.
Yeah, and look, I'm thinking giving about 10-15 minutes more each round. Because
just so people can read the crit ops.
The missions. Yeah.
That's cool. But by the way, we've got some awesome content creators who have done the reviews. Can You Roll a Crit's done a good review. Dakota did a good review. So you can go. Travis and Jason did great reviews. So going and getting your head around the new crit ops is definitely great if you check out their podcasts and so forth. And look, we've spoken about the tactical depth of the game, right, John? And there's no doubt, from deployment right through to denying your opponent points while trying to maximize, the matched play side of things is thriving. And again, massive shout out to the game designers, Elliot and Layla, for doing an awesome job. But one thing I really love, the fact that the focus on solo and co-op mode for Kill Team is back front and center. Because the thing I love about Kill Team is you don't just have to play match play. You can play solo by yourself if you want, and you can also play narrative co-op with a friend. What are your thoughts on that?
I like it. I love about 2 years ago with Ashes of Faith was a very big narrative expansion with a focus on controlling territories for having some boons for your teams. That's a personal bet from Elliot. He liked it, the campaign mode, so was a personal one for him. And we played it that summer, and the people got very, very, very amazing games. So yeah, they like it. Then with the next season, we lost that. In Beta Decima, there wasn't Involcus neither. But now it's not the same because it's not a narrative from a player versus player perspective. But this player versus environment, I like it. It's a way, if you don't have enough time for playing match play games, you can still play against the AI. There's an artificial intelligence there. No, actually, it's just a diagram from Flux diagram.
Yeah.
If the model can shot, you shot. If not, it moves. So yeah, it's very easy. But I played already 2 games against the Necrons down there, and it's not that easy. There are some ways to cut down the level, the difficulty. But if you play without the caps, wow, the Necrons keep spawning, so it's hard missions, and I like it. But also for making some intro games with a child at home, maybe, I don't know, with my nephew, I tried to play Kill Team with him, but it's 9 years old, was a bit difficult for him. But now with this, we can play in co-op. I control 3-4 models. He controls the other. It's a big way to play like a more tabletop game than a war game. So yeah, it's another way to play. I like it to they put that here. And also taking into account we already have the leak from the shard from the Citan coming in the lax box of the season. That means that it's the final boss, obviously. So in the other boxes, they are keeping this player versus environment thing for all the season. So yeah, I'm eager to know what comes in the next boxes too.
Yeah, no, I think we're all really anticipating that as well, right? I think the biggest thing that we all want to see, especially with the final boss, is how that story, comes to a completion and what that means, for narrative and co-op. The thing that really excites me about narrative is the fact that, and I touched on it before, Kill Team's pretty much for everyone, right? I've found pockets of people here in Sydney who just strictly focus on the narrative side of things or just play casual games with themselves, between friends, and are not really focused on the competitive side of things. But Kill Team is definitely something, in my opinion, that is no longer a competitive game. It's now a game for everyone. I think that's really good because it's brought a different part of the community in amongst the fold, and we see people in our Discord server, in the GTR Discord server, who are strictly focused around playing narrative and will sit there and play by themselves because more often than not, they're working long hours and they want to come back and have a piece of Kill Team to play, and they can do that. And that's what I find really, really good.
Yeah, I think a game, if wants to be successful, needs to touch everything. Obviously, the competitive scene moves a lot of content because I do content. The content I create, it's from the competitive scene, getting the meta watch and the things are playing in tournaments. Yeah, but if you don't touch the basis, the casual players, maybe, as you say, I'm tired from work. I want to go back to a club, get to a friend, play just a friendly game. Kill Team does that too. So yeah, I like it.
Yeah, no, definitely. And when we think about the game and where it came from, right? way back in first edition, cut down version of 40K through to second edition, with 6 objective markers and a couple of different opportunities to score. And now we look at where it is today, and not only just with 3 objective markers, so it's a little bit, more cagey in terms of play, but there's opportunities for people to score on different types of ops, like you mentioned. Having a look at some of the ways the game seems to be changing and some of what people have traditionally called game-breaking elements, and let's look at the Jaegers when they were first released and them being able to shoot in the strategic phase. I personally think that's changing the game for good, right? The game is changing in a way where it's becoming, in my opinion, more dynamic. I don't know if that's possible, but it's definitely becoming more dynamic, and it's turning into something, not just something in its own right separate to 40K, but becoming a really, really strong game for learning to outplay one another, not only learning your team, but learning your opponent's team, and then the gap between not being so swingy. So I personally come out of kill team games, and if I've beaten somebody with more than 10 points, you can tell that the other person probably isn't an experienced player, but I love the games when there's only 2 or 3 points between it. Is that something that you find exciting too?
Yeah, I already said that before. The games are very exciting to the last activations. So yeah, I feel exactly the same. If I win or lose, okay, I can win or lose the game for more than 5, 6, 7 points. It's a bit awkward. That's not the main thing right now. The games 2, 3, 2 points are the usual ones. Are play to the last activation. Sometimes, as you say, with Jaegers or something like that, maybe one rule is a bit overtuned. So, but that's why the developers are launching every 3 months a balanced data slate. If something is very, very, very wrong, they fix it.
Fix it straight away.
Yeah. So it's very healthy game in that matter, and the games are exciting more or less to the activation. I agree with you.
Yeah, and the reason why I call that out is because, often you'll get players playing 40K and, looking back when they released the Leagues of Votann for the first time and, taking somebody like Mortarion in your Death Guard army, and with the latest balanced data slate for 40K, basically Gazgul getting to teleport. The thing I love about Kill Team is if you come in and you get your head around the game, it's really not going to be one of those games where you turn up, you get stomped, you walk away and you go, I didn't really have a good time, I don't want to play that anymore. Once you learn the ropes, and I'd probably say it's about 10 games in, and just remember everyone, 10 games in isn't that long. They're small, fast games, but getting your head around the rules, you can have a really, really rewarding gaming experience. And I think that's one thing Kill Team's got, based on its size, based on its depth, that for me is really appealing.
Yeah. For example, you say with Leagues of Votann in 40K, I don't know, I didn't follow the competitive scene in 40K in many, many years. So, but I think one release was overly broken, and in Germany at least, they banned that faction from a month before the balance data slate for that specific faction. I don't know if it was the League of Votann, but that thing of crazy things is something we don't have here in Kill Team. Yeah, maybe one rule is a bit overtuned, but yeah, with proper placement of your models, getting into account the threats of your opponent and things like that, you can overcome that. And if you play good, you can do very, very big plays with maybe an underdog Kill Team. So in Kill Team, at least, it's much, much, much more important the player than the team itself. Obviously, in the same level of players, the best team wins. But if someone took some Kill Team because it's broken, but he doesn't know how to play it, it's gonna lose.
Yeah.
That's
definitely.
It's not 40k. You just roll a cube of dice. 100 dice. Yeah, I kill you. Yeah, that doesn't happen in Kill Team.
Yeah, look, we've got players here in Australia like Sam and Screech who will come to leagues and tournaments and take like a very basic team just to give new players an opportunity, to get a feel for the game. And I think that's great. But it's to your point, somebody well experienced can take Death Corps into a tournament, and it just happened a couple of weeks ago, right, where they came first. So, depending on who's piloting them, yeah, definitely. And when we touch on the models, like, and moving over to the hobby side of things for a second, Jon, and I know, you don't paint your models just like I don't, because we're terrible at painting and we're both TOs. But Kill Team provides a great hobby platform as well, right? Not just with the models, but when you buy a box, you might get, when you buy a starter box or a supplementary box, you'll get 2 teams, you'll get some starter terrain, which is like a full set. If it's a supplementary one, you'll get some scatter terrain. But people have gone to some really serious depths to customize. I mean, at the Purge at the start of the year, we had Cameron turn up with a wrecker crew that he turned into pirates, and he made this huge diorama for it. Like, Kill Team brings an element of hobby to the game as well, especially for 40k people who want the latest and greatest that only get released in Kill Team. It's a huge hobby opportunity as well, right?
Yeah, totally. For example, for 40k, you are not going to model every miniature to your liking, because you are playing with hundreds of them. But for Kill Team, if you want to customize your model, as you say, the wreckers, for example, there are 5 models. So yeah, if you want to make the custom, that's incredible. Yeah. So for example, the new Death Watch, there are a lot of heads, a lot of shoulder pads. You can make your own custom ones if you know. Let's be fair, the 3D printing, it's out there. So for bits and customizing stuff, it's very, very big scene you have there. So yeah, you can play, maybe trying to exchange the Xenophasic sword instead of being Necron. If you want to put maybe an Eldar sword, for example. In the rules is the same, but you can just customize your models. That's incredible, and it's a thing you can make in Kill Team. Not so much in 40k or another big games. Maybe for your main characters, or maybe the sergeants of the units, but not all the unit. But Kill Team, yeah, you can customize all your team. So yeah, from the hobby side, is also very, very good game. As a TO, I liked the terrain, but the bad part, at least for me, it's because when I host the tournaments, I use the standard layouts for matched play, and then use those scattered terrain and the extra terrain it comes in the other boxes. But I also play Necromunda, so I use them in that games in Necromunda. So I use the Kill Team terrain for Necromunda.
Yeah, no, that's phenomenal. I think, just going back to the teams for a second, Jon, being a smaller game and being lesser models, I don't know about you, but I feel connected to my minis. I feel like it's a very, intimate connection with regards to when I lose one on the field, if it doesn't do what it's meant to. So I think people, when they're modeling, go to a lot of effort to customize their minis as well. And I've seen some amazing proxies. I remember, I think it was at the Purge or KTSO last year, a gentleman by the name of Chris turned up. That must have been this year, because instead of having goremongers, he had Fire Slayer dwarves as goremongers.
That's good.
And they looked phenomenal, right? So the opportunity, to your point, for parts here, kit bashing, etc., is huge. And I think being able to get a Kill Team, and to your point, anywhere between 5 to 14 models quickly on the table and having a game with them adds a bit of excitement and a bit of appeal to it as well, right?
Yeah, totally. I don't have the time for do that. I love and when they in the groups in Discord or in WhatsApp, they share I'm building this. Wow, that's incredible. I wish I have time for making that.
Yeah.
That my problem is I don't play only Kill Team. I also play Necromunda, Blood Bowl, the Old War.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's hard to focus on one project at a time. It's my I start one project and jump into another in a monthly basis. So it's very hard to
That's
do that.
hilarious.
But yeah. I love the people that do that and come from TO perspective. When they came to me and say, John, can I play this proxy team? My only issue with the player is you have every model has to be perfectly identified when what is proxy, because for you maybe it's easy to know, but you have to make your opponent know what are your models. So yeah, I'm totally on top of the kit bashing and having proxies. Yeah, it's the best thing of the other game. Having there are some really artists. It's not just the modeling, it's from the artistic perspective.
Yeah, it's huge, definitely. And look, I think, we touched on this at the start, and I asked you about the Spanish community. I think the biggest thing for me, and the biggest thing that I've personally experienced with the GTR community is the strength of it, right? You'll honestly have people who will drive 30 minutes to turn up to a location, a club, a store, to teach someone else how to play the game, right? To give them a warm intro. I know I've done my fair share of intros, but the way the community helps each other out, and I'm not just talking about locally in Sydney or in Spain. Like I've seen, people from the US turn around and offer advice. I've got a couple of guys I've connected with, like Joey from Lifted Ground and Jason from Just Another Kill Team podcast. I've asked them about, how they do particular things, what are their opinions on things. Dakota's shared a lot, you've shared a lot, Travis has also. The thing I love most about the Kill Team community is the way everybody bands together and helps each other out.
Yeah, that's awesome. Here in Spain, for example, two of the best players in Spain, so in the world, sorry, that's our pride, are Ace. Okay.
Hey,
Fernando
Ace, massive shout out.
Yeah, he's awesome. And Ruben Lazarast. They won actually Golden Ticket this year, so they are coming to Atlanta in 2 months. Month and a half, actually. They also have a podcast, Kill Team Mercenarios. So they share their competitive perspective, because the videos I do for YouTube are more centered on the casual players and the standard games, trying to get the reach to everyone. But yeah, they are competitive players, two of the best players in Spain. So they share all the competitive tips. They have some podcast. It's very hard to follow them in podcast sometimes, because if you are taking about, I don't know, deployment without visual support, it's hard. But they do that way that it's very easy to follow. So I have some players that only from hearing the podcast avidly label in gaming. And that's incredible, because they are competitive players. They can just shut up, keep their tips for them, and don't share them, so that way they can win more tournaments. But one thing Ace told once is, I want the rest of the people to become better so I can play them and me become better fighting them. Because I don't gain anything just winning if they are bad players. I want they become good players for making me become better too. So that's incredible, because it's one of the best players in Spain, and he shares everything.
That's great. That's really good. In all honesty, lifting everybody's skill level is really important. And being able to share that knowledge and not gatekeep. And you might go into some gaming systems, and I know this is big with 40K, like somebody will turn around and take Adeptus Mechanicus, and they'll turn around and, kill you in turning point 2 or turning point 3. They'll completely obliterate you off the board, and you'll turn around and say, how did you do that? And he's like, oh, I can't tell you, right? So I think that is really exemplary of the way the community is. I know, for example, Alexa, I know Sam, I know a few of the others, Screech, who play really, really well. And they'll turn around after a game with you and they'll debrief you in a really polite, appropriate way. They'll say, do you mind if I give you some tips? And you'll say, yeah, please. And they'll tell you where you went wrong and what you might want to think about doing. I know Sam's provided a lot of guidance to new players about reviewing, how each game went. So I think it's great that the community comes together like that. And a massive shout out again to Ace and Lazarast for doing things like that. Another person who does that really well in his podcast is Ryan over at Turning Point Tactics. He provides a lot of great insight with regards to meta and so forth. And I think these types of content creators and I guess leaders in the community, amplifying the fact that, when you play Kill Team, it's a different flavor than playing 40K. It's a different flavor than playing AOS. It's a case of coming, teaching, learning, and everyone getting better. And I think that's exciting as well. One thing I love, and you mentioned this before, you touched on it as well with the loaning of terrain to other TOs. Whenever I turn around and I'm running a tournament, I'll have people reach out and go, do you need a hand setting up? Do you need any help on the day? Do you need a hand packing up? And that's phenomenal. There's never been a particular point in time where I've gone to a tournament and set up and not have had people reach out for help. So the community is phenomenal. I think that's the thing I love most about playing Kill Team, the community.
Yeah. We are repeating it, everything up. Yeah, it's the community. It's great. Maybe because being a smaller game, there is no high egos or there are no so many dicks. For the for the term, but like in other games, being the worst part of being a dick in a game is you are marked and everyone knows about that. And there is no so much in here. I saw 2 world championships and the brotherhood there was amazing. The final game between Java and Alexa, for example, they were just analyzing, as you say, the game, everything. Java, I have to do that. Alexa, this one, and they were. It's a debriefing of the game after the game. So that brotherhood it's incredible. Yeah, it's what I like from Kill Team. The best part, the game can be good, the rules can be good, the developers can be doing very great job balancing the stuff like that. But if the community it's not a good game. And that's not the case. Our community, I don't want to be a dick, for example. No. I think it's the best gaming community I play a lot of games, and it's the best in the games I play. The best one, it's the one from Kill Team.
Yeah, and look, you will come across instances where people might want to just stomp you and, be really mean and things like that. But the community stamps that out, right? I think the community is really good at calling things like that out, because there's been a couple of instances at my tournaments, where we've had a couple of unruly people and they've had to be asked to leave. But it's dealt with quickly, right? There's never been a situation where that kind of like toxicity kind of festers. You'll come across people in life who probably, want different things, and all the best to them, right? But probably not for this community.
Yeah, totally. If you are toxic, you are much better out of Kill Team.
Yeah, totally. Jon, before we wrap up, is there anybody you'd like to shout out? Your club, your store, your friends, your family, to earn more family points? Is there anyone you wanna call out, mate?
I don't know if they are going to hear this podcast in the future, but yeah, I have to go to make the lunch. So they're waiting for me. I have some roasted chicken to make, but yeah,
Nice.
no. From here, no, just the community. I already told Ace and Lassa and are incredible. Also, the guys that are going to this year to the World Championship of Warhammer in Atlanta in a month. Carlos Duran, Alejandro Netra, Java. So they are just amazing guys. And maybe no, the store here, I don't know. From a podcast in Australia, I play for War Lotus. It's a store here in Granada, the best store in the city. Well, actually,
Awesome.
they sponsor me, so I have to say that. No, it's
Of
just
course, mate. Of course. Of course, that's totally cool.
But no, yeah, it's no, maybe the Spanish community as a whole.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the Spanish community as a whole, definitely, John.
Well, yeah, it's I love them. I say the Teos from all the Spain. As I say, my Volcus is down in Santander, 1,000 kilometers up there because I lent to Rudy. It's my best friend, and we're 1,000 kilometers off. But he's my best friend from the community. So I don't know. It's just amazing.
Fantastic, mate. Well, John, genuinely, thank you so much for your contribution to the community. Thank you for honoring us with your presence on our first show. Massive thanks to all the team in Spain. Congrats on your winnings from WTC, and we can't wait to see what the Spanish team achieve at WCW.
Yeah. This year I won't be there because I have a wedding of my friend the week before, so I can't make him to Atlanta this year. Sadly, I'm gonna miss it so much. But yeah, we are going to cheer them all of players from the distance. I have to speak to Dakota. Maybe I could restream it in Spanish. I didn't just told him about it. But yeah, if not, we are just saying our squad games in Dakota's channel. So for teaming of the Spanish players, and obviously all the other friends, because maybe they are from other countries, but I count them as a friends.
Yeah, totally. It literally is friendship. Everybody who I've connected with has just been super warm and welcoming. Well, awesome. John, thank you so much again for making yourself available for a second time. And we'll definitely look forward to having you back on the show soon.
Okay, as you wish. I'm really grateful for being here. It's having an amazing interview, so anytime you want. It doesn't compete with my other games, but yeah, I can totally do it. Yeah, for the audience, the schedule for this having hard because I have a World Tournament last weekend. I have the 15 this weekend, so yeah, we have to make some very big logistics. But yeah, if we can, yeah, I'm up for another podcast.
Thank you so much, John. Appreciate you being on the show. Everyone, thank you so much for listening, and stay tuned for the next one.